In today's video, I'm going to talk about step 5 of my 7-step blueprint, and it's all about sales. And talking about 5, I'm going to talk about the 5 steps that you need to cover off to make sure you have a really easy sales conversation and convert a lot more of the people you talk to into customers. So let's get into it. Hey, this is Jamie and welcome today to step 5 of the 7-step blueprint. Step 5 is sales, but before I jump into the sales step, let's go recap and I'll run the tape to go through the 7 steps to give you context to make sure you know where this fits into the process. So let's run that tape now. So the 7 steps of my leverage blueprint are step number 1, you. Step number 2, avatar. Step number 3, your offers. Step number 4, your marketing. Step number 5, your sales. Number 6 is your delivery. And finally, number 7 is your support. So they're the 7 steps in order. And if you want to find out more details about those, go back and visit the 7 steps blueprint overview video. And we'll get back into now the detail on this step we're on today. Okay, so that's the 7 steps. And today's video is all about step 5, the sales. Now there's 5 important points for you to know to make sure that this step goes really, really smoothly. What are those 5 steps? Well, let me go into them now. Step number 1 is make sure you've done the previous 4 steps, okay? A lot of people try and have a sales conversation before they've done the groundwork and before they understand their avatar, before they understand the specific offer and then the marketing to do the heavy lifting for them. Assuming you've done that, there should be someone who wants to talk to you at this point who has pretty much all of the questions answered and they're ready to talk to you to go to that next level. So number 1 is making sure that the marketing's done the heavy lifting before you get to sales. Number 2 is also remember that sales is a conversation. It's not a pitch. I was about to say that you shouldn't be nervous about it, but that comes with everyone. From whatever position you're in, for however long you've been doing it, there's always going to be some type of nerves. Almost like a performer on stage, they'll always have those nerves before they get on stage, even though they might be the best at what they do. And that's a good thing. So what you want to do is be able to use that in a positive way to just have a natural conversation, really comfortable conversation with someone who is really interested in finding out more about you and your products and services. So step number 2 is making sure it is a conversation. Okay? It's wanting to find out about the other person and how you can add value to them. Step number 2. Number 3 is to expect what this conversation is about. Now, if you've done the marketing properly and the heavy lifting properly, it really at this point should be answering any questions that the person has, answering any assumptions that they have, with a view then they'll say to you, okay, I've got nothing else to ask now, Jamie, what's the next steps? And because you should have found out already in this conversation what they need and what position they're in from a business or a life, however you are helping them, then you'll know the best next step for them. You'll know the best offer that you've already created earlier on. You'll know the best that's suited for them. So that's what you're going to be doing next. You're going to be explaining the next steps. And when you're able to explain the next steps, which is point number 4, by the way, explaining the next steps, you're going to give them even more confidence that you have a framework of what's coming next. So that framework builds even more trust into the bigger thing that's about to come. This conversation might be the conversation you're having now might be part of a free conversation. You might be charging for this as a chargeable session, consulting session, but they're going to go to the next level with you. They're going to look to pay more money with you, and you want to give them that confidence that you're in control and you're an expert at what you do. So have a framework. That's what you've already defined in step number 3, your offer. Okay, so you can have a conversation with that really comfortably because you've done that prep work. And then the last step of 5 steps is take the order. Okay, this is the point where you want to lead them by the hand, literally or figuratively. If you're over the phone, I do a lot of my work over the phone with people all over the world. And I would say, okay, go to this web page here. Here's the information. Here's the buy now button. And when they click on it, there comes the order form. And that's where they put the credit card in. And so that's leading someone to be able to complete that order. I hear of some people who would email a form and follow up in a couple of days, or yeah, you can go to my website and get the information. That's too generic. And that increases the risk of them getting distracted and going off somewhere else, and therefore losing the opportunity I'm not talking about pressure selling. I'm talking about they've made a decision, they're ready to move now, and they're looking to you as the expert to take them to that next step. Okay, and part of that step is taking the money to go to that next step in your process, in your offer. So number 5 is making sure you take that order. So the 5 steps, I'll go through them very quickly again. Number 1 is making sure the marketing's done the heavy lifting. Okay, number 2, focusing on the conversation. It is a conversation. Number 3, answering the questions, assumptions. Okay, number 4 is explaining the next steps. And then number 5 is actually taking the order. You do this properly, you're going to be able to complete the sales process. If people ask questions that come up quite regularly, great, take those questions, put them back into the marketing. Build up your marketing education so that when people come to you, those questions have already been answered. That's the step prior. Now you've completed the sales step successfully, that's easy for me to say, then you're going to move into step 6 now, which is delivery, and I'll talk about that in another video. This was Jamie. Any questions at all? Please feel free to put them in the comments. I'm getting a lot of emails off people with feedback on how they're going and progress. Feel free to comment here as well. Get to share it with others who are watching these videos. So this was Jamie. Have a great day. Bye for now. Hey, this is Jamie and welcome to step 5 of my step 7. Step 5.